The white moonscape stretched endlessly outside the observation dome. Stars blinked in the black sky. The artificial lights of Luna 9 colony flickered below the mountain ridge, casting long shadows across the surface. Rendaster stood alone in the silent graveyard, his boots softly pressing against the polished lunar tiles. His suit was a custom-cut black exo-fabric, simple, quiet, expensive. The cold air inside the dome had no real wind, but it still felt heavy. He had not spoken a word since he landed. Every year on this same date, Ren came to this place. The graveyard on Luna 9 was small, peaceful. Just 50 memorial tombs inside a temperature-controlled glass dome. His wife, Laina Daster, had chosen this place herself before the illness took her. She used to say, "If you're going to rest forever, why not sleep where earth and stars both shine on you?" Ren never argued with her. He never could. Her memorial was placed at the center of the dome, surrounded by artificial white roses and a circle of small glowing lanterns. Her face was etched into the black marble eyes, full of warmth, the hint of a smile on her lips. But today, something was wrong. Someone was there before him. A small figure knelt in front of Laina's grave. At first, Ren thought it was a robot. Cleaner, but then he noticed the trembling hands, the fragile shoulders, the quiet sobs. It was a child, a little girl. Her clothes were torn and patched with scraps of fabric, clearly not made for lunar weather. Her face was smudged with dust. She held a rag in one hand and a half-filled water bottle in the other. She was wiping the floor in front of the tombstone, her movements careful, as if cleaning something sacred. Ren stood frozen. He didn't know what to say. He had expected silence, maybe a few digital bees humming through the artificial flower beds, but not this. The girl looked up and gasped. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to touch it," she cried, jumping back. Her voice was thin and scared. "Please don't report me. I'll go. I just wanted to clean it." Ren raised his hand gently. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're not in trouble. What's your name?" She hesitated. Her eyes looked at him with fear, then confusion, then something else, recognition. "Nin," she whispered. "Just Nin." Ren looked at the grave again. "Why are you here, Nin?" The girl clutched her rag tightly. She smiled at me once. A long time ago. She gave me food. She said I was brave." Ren blinked. "She? You mean Laina?" Nin nodded. "The dream lady. I didn't know her name before, but that's her, right?" She pointed at the marble face. "She came to the tunnels. She gave us soup and stories. And one day, she gave me this." The girl reached into her ragged pocket and pulled out a small, cracked pendant. Ren stepped closer. It was a data pendant, old model, silver casing, and very familiar. Laina used to wear one just like that on a thin chain around her neck. But he had thought it was lost when she passed. He took the pendant carefully, holding it like a delicate memory. "Where did she give this to you?" Nin looked down. "Near the water pipes, in the lower sector. She visited us many times. Said she was helping a project, but then she stopped coming. We thought maybe she got in trouble." Ren's heart beat faster. Laina never told him about this. He had known she was generous kind. She had always supported small outreach programs, medical aid, school pods, food deliveries. But this was something deeper. "Why do you clean her grave?" he asked after a moment. "Because she made me feel like I mattered," Nin replied. Her voice was quiet, but steady. "She said someone would come one day. Someone who would help more than she could. Maybe she meant you." Ren turned toward the marble stone again. The engraving of Laina's face seemed warmer now, as if watching him. He swallowed the lump in his throat. For years he had been visiting this grave to feel close to her, but he had never thought to ask what she left behind. Now standing next to a crying child in torn clothes holding his wife's pendant, he realized he had missed something important. She called her the Dream Lady, Ren whispered to himself. Nin nodded. She told us not to give up. Even when it got bad. Are there more like you? He asked. Nin looked confused. Like me? Children, in the tunnels. Her eyes shifted. Lots. We stay low so the drones don't find us. Some grown-ups got taken. Others disappeared. We're careful. Ren's mind raced. Luna 9 was supposed to be a shining symbol of human progress. A clean, efficient colony on the moon. But the girl's words painted a darker picture. A forgotten group of children living underground, hidden from the world. His wife had known. She had tried to help. He had to know more. I want to visit these tunnels, he said. Nin's eyes went wide. But you're rich, important. Ren knelt down beside her. I'm also someone who loved the dream lady, and it sounds like she left me something to finish. Nin hesitated, then slowly reached out her hand. He took it, gently outside the dome. The stars still blinked in silence. But something had shifted inside Ren. A quiet voice in his heart, maybe. Lena's had started to speak again, not of grief, but of purpose. Ren Daster followed Nin through the dim corridors of Luna 9's lower levels. The shine of the memorial dome was far behind now. The polished metal floors had changed into rusted panels, and the lights above flickered as if trying to stay alive. This was not the Luna 9 he knew from luxury hotels and corporate boardrooms. This was the side no one ever talked about. Nin walked carefully, holding her small lamp made from scrap parts. She knew every step, every corner. Ren noticed her quiet focus. For someone so young, she moved like she had been surviving for years. Why didn't anyone help you? Ren asked, keeping his voice low. Nin shrugged. People don't look down, not unless they fall. She stopped near a sealed vent and pulled a small lever hidden in the wall. A section of the floor opened up slowly, revealing a metal ladder. Down here, Ren hesitated. This was deeper than he had ever gone. But he followed her without a word. They climbed into the tunnel below. The air was warmer, but musty. The tunnel smelled like oil, metal, and old food. Strange machines hummed in the distance. On the walls were hand-drawn symbols, chalk drawings. Arrows, stars, and simple warnings in pictures. As they walked, Nin pointed to different signs. That means quiet zone. That one says bad pipes go around. And that star, she drew that. Ren stopped in front of the star. It was a simple drawing. A 5-pointed star with a smile in the middle. She? He asked. Naya nodded. The dream lady. She left signs to help us. Places to get food, or where it was safe to rest. She didn't want us to be afraid. Ren touched the wall gently. Even now, years later, his wife's kindness still echoed in these tunnels. It made him both proud and ashamed. She had done this alone while he stayed in his high tower, thinking his wealth was enough. They walked further, past more hidden paths and crawling tunnels, until they reached a larger open space. It was a wide chamber, once part of an old storage bay. Now it was home. Blankets, crates, broken chairs, and dim lanterns lit the corners. Children peeked out from behind barriers. Some looked frightened, others curious. Most were thin, wearing mismatched clothes made from old uniforms and plastic sheets. Nin stepped forward and raised her hand. He's safe, she said. He knew her. The children relaxed a little. Ren took a deep breath and looked around. At least 30 children were living here. Some were no older than 5, others maybe 12 or 13. A few were busy repairing small machines with tools made from scrap. Others were tending to a pot of soup warmed over a battery-powered coil. He had never seen anything like this. Do they all live down here? He asked quietly. Nin nodded. Most of them don't remember the surface. They were born here. The rest came from families who got kicked out. No credits, no ID, no rights. Ren knelt near a small boy sitting by a broken console. What's your name? The The boy blinked at him. Milo, he said shyly. Ren smiled. Hi, Milo. I'm Ren. The boy looked confused. You don't look like a Ren. You look like someone from the vids. Rich people don't come down here. Ren felt a small ache in his chest. Maybe they should. He sat down and pulled the data pendant from his pocket. It still felt warm, as if holding a message. Do you know anything about this? He asked Nin. She stared at it. Only that she told me to keep it safe. She said it had something important. Something she never got to finish. Ren turned the pendant in his hand. There was a small engraving on the side one he hadn't seen before. A code. Lena's private encryption key. He would need his ship to open it. Can I take it with me? He asked. Nin hesitated, then nodded. If she trusted you, then I will too. Ren stood and looked around the room. You said she was helping a project? Nin walked over to a hidden shelf and pulled out an old datapad. It was cracked, but still worked. She powered it on and handed it to him. On the screen were notes, photos, and old video clips. They showed Lena speaking with the children, setting up small learning pods, giving medical scans, handing out food, and recording data. Ren scrolled through the entries. Symbiosis program entering final phase. AI implants adapting to child. Neural patterns. Early results show improvement in memory, coordination, and learning. But funding has been pulled. No backup, no support. I'll continue myself off the grid. They call me the Dream Lady. Maybe I like that more than doctor. If you're reading this, Ren, please help them. Ren closed his eyes. So this was it. The reason Lena visited these tunnels. The reason she smiled in her final days, even when she was sick. She had a mission, and she kept it alive until the end. Ren looked at the children again. The data implants were probably still inside them, functioning, growing. But without guidance, they were just surviving. He had the money, the power, the name. And now finally, the truth. He turned to Nin. I'm going to fix this. Nin frowned. You mean, give us food? No, he said. I mean bring you out of here, all of you. Food, shelter, medicine, education, everything. The world forgot you, but I won't. The children stared at him, unsure if they could believe it. Nin tilted her head. Why now? Ren smiled softly. Because she asked me to. He turned back toward the tunnel. Come with me. We're going to unlock her message. Nin followed him, holding her lamp high. Deep beneath the surface of Luna 9, something had changed. The darkness was still there. The broken systems, the hidden pain. But a small light had started to shine. And this time, someone was finally looking down. Ren Daster sat alone inside his private star cruiser, parked at the edge of Luna 9's landing bay. The ship was quiet, just the soft hum of the power core and the gentle ticking of environmental systems. Outside, the stars glittered like cold diamonds against the blackness of space. He placed the cracked data pendant on the control console and stared at it for a long moment. It felt strange in his hand, warm, even though it had no power source. But maybe that warmth came from something else. Memory, guilt, love. He breathed in slowly and entered his wife's private encryption key. A soft blue light blinked on the pendant's side. The console screen flickered once, twice. Then a familiar voice filled the room. Ren, said Lena's voice. It was gentle, a little tired, but full of clarity. The recording showed her sitting on the floor of a metal room, wearing her old lab coat. Behind her, he could see the symbols on the wall, the same ones from the tunnels. If you're seeing this, she continued, then I couldn't finish what I started, but maybe you can. Ren leaned closer. The recording continued. After I left the Foundation, I started working on Project Echo. It was experimental, secret, and controversial. A neural AI symbiosis system. designed to help orphaned or abandoned children. The implants weren't full machines, they were biocoded to grow alongside the child's brain. They weren't meant to control, only guide. Like a voice inside them, helping them survive, remember, learn. The image shifted. A diagram appeared, showing a child's brain with a small glowing node at the base. We tested the first wave on a few volunteers from the outer colonies. Then funding was cut. The board said it was too risky, too expensive. They called the kids unstable. They shut everything down. The others walked away. Her voice grew quieter, but I couldn't. I stayed. I hid what I could. I brought supplies. I became someone else. The children started calling me the Dream Lady. I never told them who I really was. Ren felt tears welling in his eyes. He had known Laina was strong, but this. She had risked everything to protect children the world had forgotten. There's a file embedded in this message, she said. All my research. Locations of the other colonies. Names of the children implanted with Echo, some of them. They might still be out there, alone, afraid. The screen blinked again. A data file began downloading to the ship's system. Thousands of entries, test logs, medical records, research papers. Laina looked directly into the camera one last time. Ren, if anyone can finish what I started. It's you. You've always had the power. I just hope now. You have the reason. The screen went dark. Silence returned. Ren sat still for a while, his hands resting on the console. Then, slowly, he stood up and walked to the front window of the ship. Outside, Lunanane's towers reached toward the sky like bones, the clean, glowing city above, and the dark, ignored tunnels below. He had spent years building wealth, owning companies, and attending meetings that meant nothing now. He had lived inside glass towers, never realizing what lay beneath his feet. And Laina. She had seen the truth. She had given everything to help those no one else would even look at. He turned away from the window and activated the ship's comms. Nin, he said, can you hear me? Her voice crackled through the speaker. Yes, I'm here. I need you to come to the ship. Bring Milo and anyone else who wants to come. There was a pause. Is it safe? Yes, Ren replied. And we're going to make it safer for everyone. An hour later, Nin entered the ship, her eyes wide. She had never seen anything like it before. The floor was soft and clean. The walls glowed with gentle lights. Screens floated in. Meet her. Milo followed her, gripping her sleeve tightly. Ren met them at the entrance. Welcome, he said simply. Nin looked around. This is your home? No, he said. This is a tool. My real home was with Laina, and now, maybe it's here with you all. He showed them the recording. Nin watched with quiet eyes. When it ended, she wiped a tear and nodded. I knew she was special, Ren smiled. She was. And now, we make sure her work doesn't get lost. He sat at the main console and connected the data file to the ship's AI. The system scanned the information, analyzing research logs, location pings, even voice samples. The AI spoke in a calm voice. Echo program confirmed. Neural adaptation levels stable. Children identified in Sector 12, Mars Outpost 3, and Saturn Ring Base 2. Probability of survival 58%. Ren looked at Nin. They're still out there. Like US? She asked. Double quotes, yes. Just like you. Nin's eyes narrowed with determination. Then we bring them back, Ren nodded. Exactly. He knew the road ahead would be difficult. He'd face resistance from officials who wanted to forget the past. He'd need to fight laws, silence greedy boardrooms, and spend more than just credits. But for the first time in years, Ren Daster felt alive, not because of business, not because of power, but because he was finally doing something human. He turned to the AI, set a course for Sector 12, and prepare public channels. Public? Nin asked. Ren smiled. It's time people hear the truth. As the engines began to warm, the lights of Luna 9 grew smaller in the distance. But deep in its tunnels, a spark had been lit, and now that spark was ready to set the stars on fire. The star cruiser flew across the dark side of the moon, then disappeared into open space. Its powerful engines hummed softly as it moved toward its new destination, Sector 12, the abandoned mining zone near the asteroid belt. Inside, Ren Daster sat at the round table with Nin and Milo. The ship's AI displayed maps and records on the glowing walls. Faint blue dots marked old colonies, most forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. These places, Ren explained, pointing to the screen, were once homes to small communities, miners, traders, builders. When the corporations pulled out, they left everything behind, including the people. Nin studied the maps quietly. Her fingers moved over a dot near Mars's orbit. That one. Lena talked about it once. She said it had children who never saw sunlight. Ren zoomed in. Mars. Outpost 3. It was shut down 10 years ago. But sensors still show small energy readings. If anyone's alive down there, we'll find them. Milo leaned closer. Will they be like us? Ren nodded. Yes, children with ecosystems. But without guidance, they might be confused or even scared. Like the twins, Nin said softly. Ren looked at her. Twins? There were 2 boys in the tunnels. Ryo and Kay. They used to talk to the walls. Said they could hear the whisper. We thought they were broken, but maybe it was the AI. Ren's expression turned serious. They weren't broken. They were trying to understand what was inside their minds. The ecosystem wasn't finished. Lena didn't get the chance to teach them how to use it properly. Nin's eyes hardened. Then we teach them now. The ship's eye interrupted. Approaching Sector 12. Scanning for life forms. Energy detected. 14 humanoid. Signatures. Signs of habitation. Double quotes. Ren stood quickly. Prepare for landing. The colony looked like a forgotten grave. The buildings were half buried in red dust. Old metal walls had collapsed and broken solar panels leaned against cracked towers. But inside the structure, signs of life were clear, dim lights, moving shadows, and sounds of breathing in the air. Vents. Ren wore a breathing mask and stepped out, followed by Nin, Melo, and 2 small flying drones. They moved through narrow hallways, their boots crunching dust and debris. At last they reached a large chamber lit by flickering lamps. Blankets, scrap furniture, and piles of food wrappers were scattered around. And there, standing silently, were the children, 14 of them. Some were older teenagers with sharp eyes. Others were small, holding tightly to one another. Most looked thin, tired, and afraid. A tall boy stepped forward, a metal rod in his hand. Who are you? He asked, voice rough from dryness. Ren removed his mask. My name is Ren Daster. I'm here to help. The boy narrowed his eyes. We don't need help. We survived. Nin stepped beside Ren. We know. We're like you. From Luna 9. We have Echo too. The boy blinked. Echo? Ren nodded. An AI inside your brain. It helps you survive. But it wasn't finished when they abandoned you. That's why you feel the voices, the whisper. A girl in the back stepped forward. I thought I was broken. No, Ren said gently. You were left behind, but not forgotten. Another child, a boy with oil-stained hands, dropped his tool and ran forward. The dream lady. She said someone would come. She told us. Ren's heart jumped. You met Lena? The children gathered closer. They began whispering, talking, remembering. Some nodded. One pulled out a dirty scarf with her initials on it. She fixed the broken heater, said one girl. She gave us warm food. She told us stars don't forget their children. Ren listened, his throat tight. He could almost hear Lena's voice in their words. "I'm taking all of you with me," he said finally. "To a place where you'll have beds, food, medicine, and teachers who understand Echo." The tall boy looked at him sharply. "Why? Why would you care?" Ren met his eyes. "Because someone I loved gave everything for you. And now, it's my turn." The boy lowered the rod slowly. 2 hours later, the children sat aboard the Star Cruiser, clean water, real food, soft blankets. Some cried. Others laughed for the first time in years. Ren stood in the control room, watching them through the glass. Nin joined him. "They didn't trust us at first," she said. "But I think they believe now." "They believe in Lena," Ren replied. "And maybe in hope," Nin smiled. "What's next?" Ren pointed at the map. "Saturn Ring Base 2, another group. Echo signs detected. It's farther, more dangerous, but we go." "Always forward," Nin whispered. He looked at her, this child who had once cleaned a grave with her own hands. Now she was a leader, a symbol. "No more forgotten children," Ren said. "Not if I can help it." As the ship left Sector 12, the stars grew larger in the windows, and deep inside the ship, hearts began to heal. For the first time in years, the underground children looked up not in fear, but with wonder. They weren't just surviving anymore. They were beginning to live. The Star Cruiser moved smoothly through space, heading towards Saturn Ring Base 2, its engines glowing faintly against the stars. Inside, the children from Sector 12 had joined the group from Luna 9. For the first time, many of them slept in soft beds, bathed with clean water, and ate warm meals that weren't from scraps or old ration packs. Ren Daster watched over them like a quiet guardian. He walked from room to room, checking the systems, speaking softly to the kids, and listening to their stories. Some were beginning to laugh again. Others still looked unsure, scared to trust the comfort that suddenly surrounded them. But the change had begun. In the ship's command room, Nin stood beside Ren, looking at the map. "Saturn is far," she said. "Yes," Ren replied, "and dangerous. Ring Base 2 was shut down after a reactor leak. No one lives there now. Officially." "Then why go?" Ren turned to her. "Because Lena's research shows 3 children were sent there. If they're alive, they've been alone for a long time. We can't leave them." Nin nodded. "We don't leave anyone." Ren smiled. She had changed too. She was no longer just a girl from the tunnels. She was becoming a leader. Strong, brave, and clear-minded. And she reminded him of Lena more and more each day. "Sir," the ship AI said, "public channel request is ready." "Do you wish to begin the transmission?" Ren took a deep breath. "Yes, go live." Across Earth and the colonies, screens lit up. People at cafes, homes, offices, and spaceports stared in surprise as a live broadcast began. The face of Ren Daster appeared, former tech mogul, billionaire, and CEO of Daster Systems. But this was not a business speech. "This message is for every human being out there," Ren began. "I've spent years building towers, ships, and machines. But I failed to see the truth below me. While we flew among the stars, we forgot the people in the shadows." Images began to play behind him, children in broken tunnels, small hands fixing old machines, eyes filled with fear and hope. These children were part of a forgotten experiment. Project Echo, designed to help orphans survive. But when the project was abandoned, the children were left behind. Alone. He paused, voice calm but strong. "My wife Lena Daster secretly continued the mission. She brought food, warmth, and hope to those children. I didn't know until it was too late. Now I'm finishing what she started." More images appeared. Nin cleaning the grave, Milo laughing on the ship, the children huddled together in Sector 12. "I'm calling on every colony, every station, every citizen with a heart to help. We must search the forgotten zones, rescue the Echo children, and rebuild the humanity we lost." The screen faded to black with one final message. They were never broken. Just abandoned. Ren Daster, the reaction came fast. Some were shocked, some angry. But most were moved. On Mars, doctors offered to volunteer. On Earth, media channels ran Leina's story with headlines like "Dream Lady of the Tunnels" and "Love in the Dark." Old workers from Luna 9 spoke out, confirming the existence of hidden children. The silence was broken. Back on the ship, Nin watched the news with wide eyes. "They're talking about us." Ren nodded. They needed to see. To remember what it means to be human. Do you think they'll help? Some will. Others will fight back. But change has started. At that moment, the IS voice returned. "Approaching Saturn Ring Base 2. Radiation levels low. Structure partially stable. No signs of automated defense." One faint heat signature detected. Ren stood. "Prepare for entry. Let's bring them home." Ring Base 2 was quiet. The station floated among Saturn's rings, covered in space dust and frozen metal. Its lights flickered, and half its windows were shattered. Inside, the hallways were dark. Cold air blew through cracks. But Ren, Nin, and 2 helper drones moved forward, flashlights cutting through the gloom. They passed old control rooms, empty storage areas, and broken screens. Then footsteps. "Stop," Nin whispered. A faint rustling echoed from a side room. Ren signaled one of the drones. It floated ahead and turned on its light. There, crouched behind a metal crate, was a boy. He looked about 10 years old. His hair was long and messy, and his eyes were wide with fear. He clutched a sharp piece of metal like a knife. Ren stepped forward slowly. "It's okay," he said. "We're not here to hurt you." The boy didn't move. "We came for you," Nin added. "You're not alone anymore." The boy's lip trembled. "The voice said someone was coming." Ren gently knelt. "The echo?" The boy nodded. "It said to wait, even when it hurt." "What's your name?" Ren asked. "Daro." Ren smiled. "Hello, Daro. Let's go home." Back on the ship, Daro sat quietly with the other children. He hadn't spoken much, but he was clean, warm, and finally safe. Ren stood in the medical bay, watching as the ship's AI scanned Daro's implant. The readings showed the system had protected him, kept his heart steady during cold, slowed his thoughts when oxygen dropped. It had kept him alive. "Echo is amazing," Ren whispered. "Leina's gift was greater than we knew." Nin walked up beside him. "How many more are there?" Ren looked at the screen. More dots, more hidden signals. "Hundreds," he said. "Maybe more. Then we find them all." Ren turned to her. "Yes, every last one." Outside, the stars stretched on forever. But now, a single ship moved between them with purpose, not to trade, not to conquer, but to rescue, to heal. To remind the galaxy that humanity was not just about machines or money, but about heart. The ship floated above Earth's upper atmosphere, its wings glowing gently as sunlight reflected off the hull. Inside, Ren Daster stood at the observation window, his eyes fixed on the blue planet below. It had been weeks since he left Luna 9. In that time, he had rescued children from abandoned colonies, forgotten outposts, and dead mining rings. Now they were all aboard his ship, a growing family of survivors, bonded by pain, courage, and the memory of a woman who had once smiled at a beggar girl near her grave. Nin stood beside Ren, her arms folded across her chest. "You really think Earth is ready for this?" Ren nodded slowly. "They need to be. It's time to stop hiding." News of Ren's mission had spread across the stars. The message he broadcast was replayed on every major channel. People wept. Some sent credits. Others offered homes. A few called it a stunt, but most saw the truth. Now Ren had a new goal, a place for the Echo children. A safe home, a future. On a flat stretch of green land near the Himalayas, construction had already begun. Using his influence and wealth, Ren secured a large area approved by Earth's Council. His team of engineers, many of them volunteers, worked day and night. They called the place Lena's Light. The buildings were round and low, made of smart materials. Each home had warm lighting, AI helpers, and rooms built specifically for growing children with ecosystems. Classrooms, medical centers, and gardens filled the space. But it wasn't just about comfort. Ren wanted this place to become the first Echo Sanctuary, not just a shelter, but a symbol. A reminder to humanity that they must never forget those left behind. The children stepped onto Earth one by one. For many, it was the first time they had ever breathed real air or felt wind on their faces. Milo laughed as birds flew overhead. Darrow squinted at the sun, shielding his eyes. Some children cried when they touched the grass. Others simply stood still, trying to believe it was real. Nin smiled, walking among them. She wasn't wearing rags anymore. She wore a clean uniform, a soft gray jacket with Elena's light symbol stitched on her chest, a star with a smiling face in the center. She had become something special, a voice, a leader. Ren walked beside her as the children explored the new home. "We did it," he said softly. Nin looked up at him. "Not yet. Some are still out there," Ren nodded. "Yes. But now we have a place to bring them." Inside the central hall, Ren activated the press conference feed. The media had arrived. They were waiting. He stood at the podium. Behind him, Nin and several children sat on soft chairs. He began to speak. "This is Lena's Light, built not by government orders, but by a promise one made to my wife, and now to every child who was forgotten by the stars." He told them about Echo, about the secret project, about the decision to abandon the children, and about Lena, the dream lady who gave food, warmth, and hope in the darkest tunnels of the colonies. She said they weren't broken, and she was right. These children are not weak. They are not dangerous. They are brave. Smarter than we know, stronger than we imagine. They only needed someone to see them. Nin stepped forward, holding a small chip in her hand. "I'm one of them," she said. "I was alone once. But she smiled at me. She gave me this." She raised the old pendant, cracked but still shining. "She believed I mattered. Now I know I do, and so do they." The hall was silent. Then someone clapped. Then more. The sound grew louder, echoing across the sanctuary. Something had changed. Weeks passed. More children arrived. Ren's message had reached colonies on Mercury, the floating cities of Venus, and deep stations near Jupiter. Old workers began reporting signs of hidden Echo children. Rescue teams formed. Other billionaires stepped in not to compete, but to help. One donated ships. Another offered education AI. Scientists volunteered to study the ecosystems, not to shut them down, but to understand them and help the children control them better. Lena's dream had started with one grave. Now it was spreading across the stars. One evening, Ren sat in the sanctuary's garden. Flowers bloomed under warm lights. The stars above were clear. Nin walked over with 2 mugs of hot tea. She handed one to Ren and sat beside him. "You don't rest much," she said. "Could say the same about you," he replied with a smile. She looked at the stars. "When I was younger, I thought they were only for rich people, that I'd never get close." Ren followed her gaze. "Now you're leading missions to Saturn," Nin laughed softly. "Do you think she knows? Lena?" Ren looked down at the steaming cup. "I think she always knew this was possible. She believed in people before they believed in themselves." He pulled something from his pocket, the old pendant. He held it out to Nin. "It's yours now," he said. Nin took it gently. "I'll protect it, like she protected us." That night, Ren looked out across the sanctuary. He saw children sleeping peacefully. Some were reading under soft lights. Others were watching the stars through the glass roof. They were safe. They were home. And for the first time in many years, Ren Daster closed his eyes and felt peace, not the peace of silence, but the peace of purpose. because now he wasn't just visiting a grave. He was building something that would never die. The sun rose slowly over the horizon, casting soft golden light on Lena's light sanctuary. The children stirred awake, their faces glowing with hope and a quiet strength. Outside, birds sang, and flowers bloomed in the gentle morning breeze. Ren Daster stood in the main courtyard, watching the children play. The laughter filled the air, a sound so pure, it made his heart ache with joy. He thought about the long journey that had brought them here, from cold tunnels on Luna 9 to this bright home on Earth. Beside him, Nin smiled, her eyes shining. It's hard to believe this all started with a little girl cleaning a grave, Ren nodded. She never wanted fame or thanks. Just to help, to make sure no one felt alone. The old pendant hung from Nin's neck, catching the sunlight. It was a symbol now not just of memory, but of courage and love. Inside the sanctuary's education center, the children gathered around the newest project, a virtual reality classroom designed to help them control their ecosystems. Soft voices guided them through exercises, helping their minds grow stronger and clearer. Milo, now taller and more confident, sat next to Daro and Ryo. They shared stories of their lives before and laughed at small jokes. For the first time, they didn't feel like outcasts. Ren walked through the halls, visiting the medical bay where doctors checked the children's health. The echo implants were improving with care, and the children were learning to use them to aid their memories and emotions instead of feeling confused. He felt a deep pride. Lena's work had been more than science. It was humanity in its purest form. Later, Ren met with a group of officials and leaders from Earth's Council. They sat in a bright conference room, discussing plans for the future. One council member spoke slowly. Mr. Daster, your work has changed the way we see abandoned colonies and their inhabitants. We will support your efforts and help expand Lena's light. Ren nodded. This is just the beginning. We need to create safe places across the stars for every child left behind. Another leader leaned forward. And the corporations? The boards that cut funding? Ren's eyes hardened. They will have to answer for their choices. We won't let neglect happen again. The room fell silent, but the determination in Ren's voice was clear. Back at the sanctuary, Nin sat with a group of younger children, telling them stories about the stars. Lena called the stars watchers, she said softly. She believed they never forgot anyone, that no matter how dark it got, the stars would guide us home. A small girl raised her hand. Will the stars watch over us too? Nin smiled. Always. The children cuddled closer, feeling safe for the first time. One evening, Ren returned to Luna 9. He stood again by Lena's grave. The white roses still bloomed around the marble, glowing faintly in the moonlight. He placed a fresh flower on the tomb and whispered, We're doing it, Lena. We're bringing them all home. Your dream lives. A soft wind brushed the glass dome. It felt like a blessing. Ren stayed for a while, then turned to leave. But before he stepped away, a small voice called out, Sir. He looked down. It was Nin, holding the old pendant. Thank you, she said simply. Ren smiled. No, thank you, for reminding me what truly matters. Years passed. Lena's light grew into a beacon of hope across many worlds. Children with echo implants learned to live full, happy lives. Communities formed. The forgotten were remembered. Ren Daster no longer just a billionaire, but a guardian of the lost. And in every child's smile, he saw the shining light of a dream fulfilled.